So what is the best rivalry in WWE history? Comment below. The number one rivalry in WWE history, obviously to me, it's apparent, it's clear. It's Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, the biggest star versus the biggest asshole boss, that essentially defined the Attitude Era. So many golden memories. Austin spraying them all with beer in the ring, beating Vince's ass in the hospital, and smacking him on the head with the piss pan. Who could ever forget the confrontation with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Iron Mike Tyson? Man, that shit was absolute insanity back in the day watching that shit on TV. Forever unmatched and undoubtedly one of the biggest and best rivalries in WWE history.
I like that. One of my favorite ones, even though it's not WWE, Sting versus Ric Flair. That was one of my favorite because Ric Flair was already like the number one guy. Sting was an up and comer, constantly fighting, man. They have Iron Man matches. Ric Flair is one of the dirtiest players in the game. Sting had the aura, he was the surfer boy, whatever, had the buzz cut, the face paint, the light color face paint. And he was trying to be a star. So those guys used to go at that stuff, man, endless years and years, bro. And finally, I feel like Sting might have came on top. They might have gave him the push or whatever past Ric Flair. But that was one of the best rivalries I've ever seen because those guys used to go to 60-minute iron matches. Like all types of stuff. He'll put them in the figure four, stinger splash, whatever, try to put them in the scorpion death lock, the scorpion death drop. It was a whole bunch of stuff. Ric Flair with the poke in the eyes, punch him in the nuts. Like it was just a whole bunch of stuff just going on. That's like one of my first like battle tested matches, rivalries that I've seen, bro.
That was a great rivalry. But it wasn't WWE, dickhead. Stay on point here, would you?
I know, but
Come on.
WWE owns
Come
anything
on.
now. Everything.
Yeah, they do. You ain't lying.
I got two of the most predominant and most popular wrestlers of the entire wrestling community history. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who might be the number one guy of all time, depending on who you ask, and The Rock. When them two go face to face or off camera, they were friends, they cared about each other, but on camera, you could cut the tension with a fucking butter knife, man. It was so fucking thick, and they betrayed the hatred that they had for each other so well. A lot of the matches, they would bleed so profusely from having fucking chairs and championship belts, all that shit. I don't know if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, I sent you the WWE Vault YouTube channel it was 162 hours worth of nothing but the Attitude Era. And I literally watched probably 50 hours of that. And a lot of it was Stone Cold and The Rock and Hulk Hogan, Triple H and Stone Cold, Triple H and The Rock, and just all, and Kurt Angle was in there a lot as well. Those are the heyday of the WWE that I fucking wish as an adult that I could experience nowadays. But I feel like the biggest rivalry in history, in my opinion, is Stone Cold and The Rock.
I think that is one of the most, if not the most popular misconception in WWE history. When you call Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock a rivalry, I think that is the wrong word for that. Because don't get me wrong, every time they face each other in any match they had, they performed great. They didn't miss a beat. It was always awesome. Every time they had promos versus each other, they'd insult each other. I was entertained every time. I never seen them two on screen together where I couldn't just stop what I was doing to watch. See, oh shit, what's gonna happen? They had that. But to call it a rivalry, I think is a stretch because The Rock only pinned Austin one fucking time in singles matches throughout every single time they fought each other. He was 1-9 against Stone Cold in singles matches, and he didn't beat him until Stone Cold's very last match at that WrestleMania, at the very last one, until he unretired years later and came back and fought Kevin Owens. But that was the only time he beat him in singles competition one-on-one. That's not a rivalry. That's a fucking trouncing. When somebody's beating you over and over. And I don't know why Vince didn't let The Rock go over more on him. I just don't know. Like, I would have definitely made that more. But that's the reason why I didn't have that as one of my rivalries. Because to me, that's not a rivalry. Like, he whooped Rock's ass every time. Like, he used to whoop The Rock ass. Like
Yep.
it was no ifs, ands, or but. You knew Stone Cold was gonna win, which he usually won like 80% of the time. It seemed like anyway, but still. But speaking of The Rock, I had The Rock versus Triple H
That
for
was
one
going
of
to be in my other
my
one. That was another one.
because those two had some wars. They
Hmm.
had 21 singles matches versus each other. The Rock won 9 of them, and Triple H won 8, and they had 3 no contests. But they always brought out the best in each other, and they worked great together. Backlash 2000 was insane, where Austin returned and took out the McMahon family, the chaos and all of that crazy
Hmm.
shit. And then you had Judgment Day in 2000, and that was probably their best match. That was chaos as well too. They had that 60-minute Iron Man match where Triple H won, but Undertaker returned in that one. So it was always crazy chaotic, but Triple H and The Rock worked great together, and that was definitely one of my biggest rivalries in WWE history.
So that was Sledgehammer Triple H.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that was a savage.
Hmm.
That was the best version of Triple H when he brought that sledgehammer with him,
Yep.
and he was banging folks. You feel me?
Oh
So
yeah.
that's definitely a good one. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Big bro, that was another one I had. Go ahead.
Undertaker,
Talk to
Shawn
him.
Michaels, man. Those boys used to go off on each other, man. Super kick, last ride, all types of stuff. And then the one match that they fought in the Hell in the Cell, boom! Kane comes out, the debut of
Yeah,
Kane
debut of Kane.
comes
Yeah,
out, pulls the gate down, whatever, man. Throws the fire, choke slams. Undertaker, man, gets that boy to win. I'm talking about Shawn Michaels was getting crushed in that match.
He was.
That damn
hmm
Kane came out and showed the world, bro, and it showed his dominance. You know,
yes, sir.
that's
Great.
that's
Oh
a
yeah,
very good one for me.
definitely two of the best iconic ring performers we've ever seen.
Hmm.
Nonetheless, WrestleMania 25 and 26, arguably two of the greatest matches of all time. I mean, they always left it all in the ring. They only had 5 singles matches throughout their entire careers versus each other, with an even score of 2-2.
Hmm.
One being no contest. This rivalry will be remembered forever. All great matches every time they fought each other.
Hmm.
But that's a rivalry. That's definitely a rivalry. That was a great one. How about Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins?
Hmm.
So this one goes without saying that this feud will never end on screen.
Hmm.
Never. The Shield fallout has led to 10 singles matches between the two of these guys, with Rollins winning 5 and Roman winning 4 and one no contest. So they're 1-1 versus each other in clean wins. 1-1 versus each other in clean wins. So every
Hmm.
other time that each one of them has won, it's been on some
Dirty
shady,
ball. Hmm.
which definitely sounds about right with these two guys.
Right.
But this rivalry goes back and forth. If you look at the history of it, Seth wins, Roman wins in that order. It goes back
Hmm.
and forth, back and forth. But the best thing about this rivalry is that it's not over, and
Hmm.
it will. And they gonna be
Never,
beefing for years to come, bro. And
never
it's
over.
so good for business. It's so good for business when these two beef. That's two of your biggest stars.
Hmm.
So, but this is the more modern rivalry that is definitely going to be remembered as one of the biggest ones in WWE history. And like I said, they're still writing this story. So definitely got to go Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
Another one that I really liked is not two singles, it's two teams. The Hardy Boys, and you can
And
even
them
throw it.
damn Dudleys.
Well, you can say, I was going to say the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian, but you can also throw in the Dudleys in
Hmm.
there.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
Hmm.
throw all of them in there. Yeah,
The,
Right.
definitely.
the,
Hmm.
the TLC
TLCs.
matches, good
Hmm.
fucking God, those were some of the best
Hell
matches
yeah.
ever in the history of wrestling. Especially when, I think it was the second TLC match that they had. Jeff Hardy was hanging off of the belts or whatever.
The
Edge,
fucking
Hmm.
belt.
Hmm.
Edge
Edge,
speared him.
Yep.
yeah,
Ooh.
And
that was.
speared his
Oh
ass.
my
Oh
God,
my
that
God.
that entire
That
match
shit
was
hurts
crazy.
right now.
Jeff Hardy jumping off
Right.
a 20 foot fucking ladder to swanton into a bunch of tables that
Tables. Yeah,
that
Hmm.
dog.
Yep.
that Bubba Ray moved off of, and then later on in the match, Bubba Ray gets pushed off the ladder, goes flying. Him and Matt go flying into a bunch of tables and shit. That match, that second TLC match was one of the greatest matches
Right.
I've ever fucking
Hmm.
seen,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and
it was
that
one of the most exciting, no doubt.
yeah, and that rivalry between either two or all three together, legendary.
No question. That's a good one. What is the biggest rivalry in WWE history? Chime in the comment thread and let us know. Yeehaw.